Welcome to my channel. This is an indication of some of the things that I cover on a regular basis in my videos. If you haven't already subscribed, please feel free to do so, and don't forget to click the little bell so that you'll get notified of future videos. Please feel free to share my videos on your social media, and I hope you enjoy the video which follows. Angel patiently waiting in the truck. We're on our way to the beach. We hope to make a beach walk video. Live again, and once again it was sideways or upside down or something. I give up. Not playing with that toy anymore. Angel licking sand off her foot. She gets sand in between the pads on her feet, and I don't know, just the feeling of it, I guess, bothers her. She stops and licks sand off. A big difference in what the sea was like 2 days ago and what it's like today. This is also low tide. The tide has just turned. Started to rise again. We were way up there the other day, almost up to where the grass line is. That's where the high tide mark would have been. As I said, if you listen to any of the live video that I just deleted, this is the Bay of Fundy, the highest rise and fall of the tide in the world. Not exactly where we live here. We still get very high tides and low tides. But the more dramatic ones are up at the head of the bay, sort of east of us, I guess, northeast of us. Nevertheless, it's pretty impressive here as well. We're going to walk way over there to a large tree stump, a whole tree, driftwood that has been here for years. Occasionally the storms move it a little bit, but it's our turning point. We sit on the stump and rest for a while, and then we come back. So I'll do a few more clips with coming and going, no doubt. We're about halfway along our walk across the beach here. This was constructed this summer. First new one that I've seen constructed here in quite a few years. We call it a weir, a sardine weir, herring weir. Sardines and herring are the same fish. Here, if it's alive or not in a can, we call it a herring. If it ends up in a can, we call it a sardine, but they're all the same, it's the same fish. This is a type of fish trap. The part that you see going out there to the sort of circular corral area, it's called the fence, and a large school of herring will follow the fence and go in through an opening and find that they can't get back out of the weir. Other places pronounced weir. But the man who made it here calls it a weir. I call it a weir. A lot of money would have gone into putting this up earlier this spring and summer, and unfortunately I don't think they had a very good summer. A year ago, this cove, which is called Herring Cove for a very good reason, was full of herring all summer. And they used what they call shut-offs. They didn't have a weir here. They used shut-offs, shut off the area with net, and then seined the herring, and a lot of money was made here. And these people invested in producing a weir. At least the first season with it, I don't think was terribly successful. I think they take the nets off of it, but I see some net out there, so I don't think they've removed all of the net yet. So maybe there's a hope of something later this fall, but pretty soon we'll be into our winter storm weather, and they'll remove the netting because that will tear the whole thing down with the storms here. A little difficult shooting because it's 10:30 or so, and we're shooting into the east, and the sun is still relatively low since it rose 2 or 3 hours ago. And Angel is back cleaning that foot again. She doesn't do that sometimes, but today, for some reason, that particular foot, sand in it, is really bothering her. Something I meant to mention in that last clip, just before we got to the weir, there were deer tracks in the sand here. I quite often see the tracks. I don't know, they come down, of course they require a certain amount of salt in their diet, so whether they come down the beach to drink some salt water or just to lick salt off of rocks or whatever. I've never seen a deer. I just keep seeing the tracks, but the couple that I walked with out here yesterday saw a deer sometime in the recent past, quite a young one. Me, I'm not that lucky. All I get to see is the tracks. I don't know. She's not going to stop it with that paw today, I guess. We're really bothering her. Maybe we should get up and walk in finer sand up the beach. A little further along, sort of get a better shot of the weir without the bright sun. I forgot to mention also that occasionally other creatures get caught in there. I don't recall there ever being a whale get in one, but I'm sure it's happened somewhere, maybe even happened around here years ago. But frequently a shark will get in, and they can't seem to find their way back out. And occasionally a huge tuna will get in. On the car ferry this summer going across from here to the next island, Bear Island, a huge tuna jumped out of the water halfway over. They're not that common in the area, but we do see a few every summer. Very valuable now, no matter how much they weigh. And they're shipped by air freight fresh to Japan. Well, to give you some idea of how far it is to the high tide mark, we're walking at the water's edge now, but the tide has been rising for 3/4 of an hour or so. I'm going to walk straight up to where the high tide point was yesterday when I was out here. There are a few funny stories around here about the tide. There was a real estate developer selling property here in the late 70s, early 80s. Sort of a shady outfit. Anyway, somebody came here and bought shore frontage on a cove, a harbor that we call Harbor de Lute, the harbor of the otters, which has a dramatic rise and fall of the tide. They came back the next day and the tide was down, and they wanted to know if they could get their money back because someone had drained the water out. And I guess it's a true story. Okay, we're about where I would have been yesterday. That's where this bits of seaweed were left here. The full high tide, the day of the storm, with the waves and whatever, was coming up to this line of seaweed. I'll turn around. Angel demonstrating for you. I'll turn around and show you. Hopefully that gives some indication of the rise and fall of the tide here. Sure, there's lots of wind noise on this video. Sorry about that. Not much I can do about it. There really isn't a lot of wind, but there's a nice breeze, and the microphone in this iPhone is very sensitive. This is our halfway point. It's a big old tree that, due to erosion somewhere, not necessarily here, but somewhere along the coast, it fell into the ocean a number of years ago, and all of the soil has been washed off the root structure. It has moved a couple of times, its location here on the beach, but it doesn't leave, it stays here. That's where we sit for a rest. People have written messages on it. That one there says a piece of heaven on earth. Another one says gratitude. One that says prayers. Find all kinds of things written on it, and unusual things stuck in the root structure. Just a couple of stones there, but I have found other interesting things that people have picked up on the beach and put in the root structure. Angel's ready for our rest. She's already up on the log. Not very good at all with the selfie thing, but here we are on our log. The nice root structure in the background there. It is a lovely day. I think I said earlier it went down to 6 degrees overnight, which is nowhere near frost anyway, and it's up to around 10 or so now. So you need a jacket for sure with this breeze, but what a beautiful day. If I could just find out how to turn this, I would turn it so that you could see the other direction here, but I don't see how to do that in this bright light. I'll do a second clip. This is our view from the log. That's Grand Manan Island, way offshore there. And we started way back over at that end of the beach. And pretty soon we'll be headed back. Angel started picking up sticks, letting me know that she wanted to go for a swim. Well, it's a relatively calm day on the water, so I've let her go in. I've thrown a stick for her. I'll only do the one that gives her a chance to dry off a bit before we get back to the truck. She loves the ocean. There's a website here where I can check and see what the ocean temperature is. I didn't check today, but I checked a couple of days ago and it was 12 degrees. It doesn't vary a great deal between summer and winter. It goes down maybe to 8 or so in the winter time. When the air gets so much colder than the ocean, we get what we call vapor. What the silly weather people now call sea smoke. Well, if you've ever been out in it, it is not sea smoke. It's the warmer air causing warmer water causing evaporation rising up into the air. It's like a fog, only it's just down at sea level. It accumulates on boats and everything else, icing up. And there is Angel having her swim in the ocean. And I wasn't showing you Angel, I had this thing aimed up at the sky or something. I'm not very good at using an iPhone. We're almost finished our walk. A couple of people have arrived and appear to be picking stones. It's a popular pastime here. I don't know exactly what a lot of them do with it, but I know some people would put them in a tumbler device with different kinds of grit and tumble them for weeks on end, and that polishes them. There are a lot of very interesting different kinds of stones on this beach. So you often see somebody walking with a bag picking up stones. We're just about finished. Angel once again is examining that foot. I'll have to look at it when I get home, but I'm absolutely sure there's no cut or anything. It's just today it's bothering her with the sand. Sitting in the sand, she's got sand on her hip now. Thankfully I have a towel with me. I can dry her off some before she gets in the truck. Going through the dunes, this footpath goes to a little bridge over a stream. Earlier, I don't know if you noticed or not, but back at that stump thing, there was an ATV four-wheeler trail on the beach, which isn't a problem. They really can't hurt anything if they're sticking to the beach. Unfortunately, you also see them coming through the dunes here. And I never actually seen the person doing it, but you see the track where they've come through the dunes, and that causes irreparable damage to the delicate infrastructure. That's why we have specific path areas where you walk and you aren't supposed to go anywhere else. Here's the little bridge. My truck is over there in the parking lot and it's been joined by another. I think that's another truck. A couple down there picking stones or driving a truck as well. They tie this little bridge down in the wintertime. You might be able to see the red rope on it going over to a stump there where a tree blew down a number of years ago. The severe winter storms cause a storm surge to come up in here. Quite often knocks this little bridge off its mooring, and they tie it down so it won't go too far away in the wintertime. They can put it back in the spring. Well, I think that's just about the end of our walk. We're just over into the truck and we're ready to leave. Thank you very much for watching.